Hello and welcome to Pillars of Eternity. So, last episode, we read a lot of books before we rested, then we forgot to rest. Also, we need to go and look for the part of the Blade of Endless Path. Wait, that's the party we want, right? Yep, that's them, alright. Maybe I should switch you for Alon.
Following your lead.
Let's see, 445. 4. Well, she's definitely better at casting this. Endurance 40 plus. 40.5. Send wall defenses for 33 seconds. So this one is a little bit better. I don't know how it's calculated though. I guess intelligence for the area of effect. No, I seriously have no idea. Healing powers maybe? I don't know. The thing is that Kiana's job is done. He did serve me well, but now I think we should take Aloth a little bit.
Safe
Yes.
travels.
Hi?
There we go. And let's rest. Constitution and athletics up. Just before we do that, a great and ancient weapon has been dismantled in pieces and thrown throughout the endless paths of Old Nua. Perhaps if all pieces can be found again, the weapon can be reforged. I have discovered... Oh! When did that happen? I don't know. Let's go. The first fires. You know, that's the second time that thing happens. Whatever. Oh, we still have to pay you even though you are kind of pathetic with what you do. Look at that. We lost 666 monies to bandits and earned only 228. Do we really have to pay you this month? Anyway, let's go to the Crucible Keep and reforge. Oh, assassins. Oh, that's gonna be funny. No, I want you. Actually, I have to kill them myself.
Zala is ready.
Take it backlash now. Now of you retreat. I will handle them personally. How long are you gonna be stuck for? One more second. Tsar, can you please make him
Yes.
stop following us? Thank you. It's so simple. Really? Wait, seriously? So not only is the weapon pathetic, you can't actually use it with anything else. Great. We don't need to go and speak with the dual mouse. I think. We'll see. You could have helped, you know. Wretched beings. Okay. Oh, camp supplies. Great. He turned from the porch, setting his hammer on the war cable. Eh, you need something? Dustin yells at his defender and repeated hammer blows. I found all the pieces of the ancient sword. Do you think you could repair it? Maybe we'll give it to Heather. Aye, it would be a privilege too. Not often you get to lay eyes on such fine craftsmanship. This blade will make some items, some time, but I guarantee it will be worth it. Finest work I've ever done, if I may say so. It's only a shame I can't take all the credit for it. Speaking something else. No. Let's take a look at this wonderful. Oh, a two-handed one. Oh, and it's a Nestock. Great. Nothing new to report. Great, that means that one turn has passed already. 3 more. Haha. I look bloody ridiculous. Even the boots don't look that great. Oh, let's see how it looks then. It's not a soul-bounding weapon. An Adrian explorer once heard a legend of Ingwidian tomb filled with Dead Empire's greatest treasures. Dead set on making a name for the future for himself, he had one of the finest smiths of Daiwood craft a blade worthy of this task. He descended into a place known as the Endless Paths of Old Newa, and was never heard from again. His possessions were scattered by the strange evils that dwelt within, and his precious sword was shattered. That is one expensive weapon. Wait. It is a superb weapon. I didn't see anywhere saying superb. Attack speed, superb. Oh, okay, yeah, I found it. Never mind. Still not great though. Why an S-Talk? I mean, it does look good. Okay, we need to go and speak with the dual mouse. At least I suppose we ought to speak with the dual mouse. have to look for more assassins here. And Blackenberry. We already killed more than half the humans we need to kill, but still. Well, go and ask the Duhamels for a favor. They actually owe me this. And I do have a reputation for a great lord of Cad Noah. Room, what can I do for you? I need an invitation to the meeting of a Ducal Palace. You shall have it, and when you attend, I sure you'll keep House Duhamel's interests at heart. Forgive me, but I have matters to attend to. I need a favor. No, I don't. Tell me about House Duhamel now. If you've heard little of us, it means we've successfully kept our hands down, as we should in this business. Well, it's not really, I've read about you. We're once the premier families of Defiance Bay. Our ancestors, however, picked the wrong side in the War of Defiance. For a people of such a short history, we Daewoodians have a long memory. My forefathers were no longer welcome to the same cycles, so they had to adapt. In the end, it worked out well for us. We've attained a unique position as masters of Defiance Bay's elite trade, and with that has come a different kind of power. You know what'd be great? If when you pick a side between the Duhamels, the Crucible Knights, or the other guys, the Adventurers, the dozens, yeah, the dozens. Great, you get a unique companion for every single one of them. They can be the same class, just kind of different. Huh. Or maybe get a companion who will have different classes depending on which side you take. And if you align yourselves with the Duhamels, he becomes a rogue. With the Crucible Knights, he becomes a paladin. And with the dozens, I don't know, a priest. Anyway. What is this? The first fires. I actually have no idea what the Duhamels want. It actually doesn't matter. I just want to see the Duke dead. Not something that will happen the second I see him. I will stab him with my saber. And then I will run away, because that's what you do when you kill someone important. Do I need to go there, or should I have gone and saw Lady Webb? Sidley? Okay. 0 hours passed. Great, great. True to form. The long hunt. I have summoned. Yeah, now I'm formally invited to the Animancy hearing. I should return to Lady Webb and update her on the process. I have been invited to join House Duhamel's delegation. I still have no idea what they stand for. But we are not going to stand against them. Whatever they say, I will support them. After all, Animancy is pathetic by itself. Reshaping the souls into something that will suit them. The ingenuity is funny, if you think about it. Ondra's gift. You know, I need to go to there. Yeah, let's go to Ondra's gift. And purchase some dragon's meat from there. I can afford it, I mean I can sell a lot of stuff. Oh dear, oh dear. The salty must. A courtesan. You know, someone ought to clean that blood up at some point. Just saying. Even if they don't have dragon's meat, I don't think I'll be much trouble. I mean, I'm such a high level, it won't even scratch me. You know, the only time I think I needed to eat dragon meat was when I fought the elf dragon. The other dragon wasn't that difficult to kill.
Greetings.
Oh. You honestly don't have them. Do you have eggs? Maximum endurance and intelligence. Fish makes you smart. Jeffa.
Well met, friend.
Maybe another time. Look at them. Every single one of those I can kill with a single spell.
Are you sure? Hope you're not expecting much.
I'll scout our path.
I have led before. I hope this goes better.
I'm flattered.
You should be, the Tsar. You're the most important partner of our company here. You're my adventuring buddy or whatever. There. Ooh, day's breaking. Let's move to the first fires. And by that I mean, let's skip the first fires and just go to where we need to go. Also, is that guy still here now that it's day? An unfortunate mishap. A young lad lost several fingers while toying with a sharpened blade. Let this be curiosity tale of those little ones at home. Perhaps a wooden sword is a wiser gift. Is it Gordy who lost a few fingers? Honestly, I don't care. I did give him the blade and didn't expect much in return. From this point on, I won't be playing for money, just for principle. If anyone tries to rob me, I'm just gonna knock him unconscious. Lerolism. It shall be an interesting tale of adventure and death, and sickness, and whatever. We are smart, because we eat fish. Anyway. As I stated before, I actually love being strong, overpowering and stuff. Especially when I've earned it like this time. Oh, look, a fine hunting bow. That's almost a good weapon now.
How fares your search?
If I'm going to do this for you, I think it's time you told me everything about Theos.
I've told you everything you need to know.
But not everything.
It's only right that you know everything. When I was younger, before Dunreed Row, I had many suitors. These were fine-looking men of good stock, but I could see their thoughts, and they were unimpressive. Boys' thoughts. I toyed with their affections. I resented all of them. And then I met a man whose mind was a mystery to me. But he understood me. He knew me at a glance, told me things I didn't know about myself. He was neither handsome nor charming, but he was all I ever wanted.
And that was Theos.
We made a game of my gift. He would ask me about people, and I would tell him what they were thinking. Sometimes the information was very sensitive. And then one day he asked me if I trusted him. I said I did. Next I knew I was donning a silver mask and swearing oaths to Woodica. Using my gift for the leaden key still felt like a game to me, so I did it. I did it because it pleased him.
But it didn't last, did it?
I don't like living in the dark. It's a powerless, hopeless feeling. Every day I did things without knowing their purpose. Every day I loved a man without knowing his thoughts of me. I sensed that there were things he wanted to tell me. I sensed that he knew everything the leaden key was created to hide. But Theos was unyielding. One day I disappeared without a word. He would kill me for it, and I knew that. It's their rule. I just wanted to see him plunge the knife, because then I would know. But the day never came. He has left me to wonder. I have devoted my years to learning everything I could about him, in hopes I would find some clue as to who he really was, and why he felt he had to keep his secrets locked away. I have precious little to show for it. Just an old woman nagged by old thoughts. And that is truly everything I can tell you about Theos. I hope you will accept this embarrassing story as a show of my good faith.
I still have questions.
Yes?
I want to discuss the animancy hearing at the palace.
What of them?
House Dominel has accepted me into their delegation.
Unlikely as it may seem, House Dominel is as much responsible for maintaining the peace as the Crucible Knights. The Duke understands this, and he will hear you out if they are with you. You need waste no more time here. Get to the palace. Make your case to the Duke. With him on our side, all of Deerwood can be mobilized against the leaden key, and Theos can be rooted out. I only wish I could be there to see it. There is a very old bottle of a very good brandy that I have been saving for a special day. If you hurry back afterward, there may be a little left for you. Off with you. You're going to do very well in there.
She smiled thinly, and so I left for the hearing.
What of them?
Unknown of what will happen there. Every single thing I've been working for up to this point was going to have its resolution there. The plan of the Linden Key would be revealed, and their intrigues will strike once more. And yet, I did not know that at this point. Seems like I've forgotten to pick up supplies. It's not a big bother. We can do that at any shop, anywhere. Oh, go to the upper floors. Okay. We received word from Lord Duamenau that you would be attending. The balcony has been opened for you. And thus, I took a deep breath and entered the huge room. And of course they allowed weapons in here, especially the bow, you know. The room below is animated amidst a hatred debate. All the representative groups were easily descended in the crowd. Crucible knights, stiff in their noisy armor, sit in one section. In another are well-dressed members of House Duamenau, casual watching with the predator's instinct. Still, elsewhere are the remarkable dozens, who have made no special effort to dress up for their liege lord. Interpressed are animancers in their academic robes, with expressions neither sore nor concerned.
Well then, answer me this, Master Barash. If you animancers represent our best hope to cure the legacy, what progress can you demonstrate?
At the back of the chamber sat the Duke, sparrowed in his throne, worn down but alert, and feisty nonetheless.
As I've said, it isn't about progress, it's about potential.
My house would agree, Your Grace. We see great potential in its future.
And I suppose your blazing profits during the legacy don't have nothing to do with that, do they, Dominel? You can't have it both ways no more! Animancy goes, or this country goes!
You could have at least put on a shirt.
So you admit, Master Barask, that animancy is no closer to stopping the legacy than it ever was.
No, we've had many promising experiments. Cadman Azo has shown...
This is nonsense.
Cadman Azo murdered a child. For a complete failure. We should be hanging him right now for what he done. The dozens won't stand for it.
There is no need. Master Azo recently passed the Shroud. And while the experiment failed, his work
was sabotaged.
Ah, our new delegate from House Dominel. What makes you say sabotage?
All at once the attendants turned their faces toward me. A mismatch of judgment in incursibility. Only the Duke, a wide-looking man, with a shaggy beard, seemed unfazed by your interruption. A man with authority, I can respect that, and yet he was indecisive when it mattered the most. I met a false patient in Blackenberry Ascension, who had tampered with Azo's machinery.
The fuck's that even matter? These are people who would toy with the lives of our children.
Indeed. Even assuming there was sabotage, is this Animancer Azo not still accountable here?
Those who know me around here know me to be fair in judgment. Cadman Azo should be guilty. After the face we saw in the Centrium, I couldn't agree more.
Exactly! Look at what happened in Heritage Hill. Our supposed protectors from Crucible Keep can't even clean up the messes Animancy leaves!
Your Grace, we'd have a much easier time of it if our knights weren't so occupied trying to keep their organization from igniting a revolution on our very doorstep.
Heritage Hill is blood on your hands, Justiciar! You turn a blind eye, and look what happens.
Okay, so, you could have pronounced it Justicar, or Justiciar, and you decided to go with Justiciar. Okay. The Crucible Knights are blameless here. This was not the working of Animancy, but an ancient device in Tier Nowen.
You've some strange taste in travels, friend. The height of your tales expands with every breath.
You think some rotten corpse of volunteer guards could stand in my way? I earned my answers.
I'll grant that you look the part.
Duke cracked half a smile.
Tell us what you saw in Heritage Hill.
They are Noah's house, in Egwedian machinery that held dominion over the flow of souls. It was this machine that made the district undead.
Even if it is as you say, we have testimony that a group of Animancers had been spending time there. Surely their tinkering had something to do with this.
I have reason to believe that there were others at the tower who might have done this.
Animancy has many enemies. You need only look around this room to see it.
You're missing the point! Everywhere there's Animancers, there's disaster!
But they are not responsible for most of them, idiot. It's the people who mistreat them, who mistrust them.
We all know what Widewind's legacy's really about. And it ain't about some sparkling saint from Creed Ceres who's mad because he took a stroll down the wrong bridge. It's about a bunch of so-called intellectuals fucking with the natural order while the rest of us gotta suffer for it.
Is it, though? Should we not take the time to reach a clear conclusion? I mean, what proof do we have?
My son and daughter are buried beneath the floor of my house. We don't own no land, so that's where we lay them. My son. My wife let him slip when she was bathing him. Got water in his lungs he couldn't cough up. My daughter? We put her to bed one night, and the next morning she wasn't breathing. This Hollowborn thing, it ain't ending. And it ain't ending because we still let these charlatans play God. There's your proof, you damn copper fucker!
Okay, first of all, did you really have to whisper half of the lines here?
Enough, Adric. Lady Dominel makes a point. If it's Animancy, then why do the other states that permit the practice not suffer the same fate? Who among us can say he truly understands why the legacy has taken hold here?
I can. The crowd begins to murmur, the sound taking the upper charter. Wilden's legacy is the creation of the London Key. Cadman Azo's downfall was their work as well, as was the tower in Heritage Hill. They want you to do this. They want Animancy to fall. The dull muttering expands into dim and skeptical that fills the hall. I have seen them in the ruins of Eroglanfad, operating machines that disturb the reticent a flow of souls near the towns like Gilded Vale and Dialford, where the legacy is universal. As a watcher, I have heard their deaths confess their plot. They are stealing the souls of the unborn.
Beasts. Another lunatic at the hearing. Did you remember to lock your sanitarium before you left, Master Barask?
You shame your order by dismissing the truth before hearing it, madame. I expect better from the Crucible Knights.
You must know, friend, that the Leaden Key is a mantle for small-time ruffians and children at play. I'm not saying you're a liar. Not yet. But you'd better start making sense of all this. Help us believe you.
Okay, let's take a look at those answers. If you know anything about me, you know this. I have been called many things, but never a liar. An honest witness is the best piece of evidence you have in this matter. No, not really. Yeah, let's say this.
The only piece of evidence.
The only piece of evidence that doesn't send your kind to the gallows, you mean?
You've made an unexpected case, friend. I'll say that much. It seems we have a new possibility to consider, at the very least. How was it you came to learn all this?
House Dumanel provided me with the resources I needed. We owe them a great debt.
It is very good to see House Dominel putting their considerable resources to use in solving this matter in which we all have a stake. But these hearings are about more than Widewind's legacy, even though that is our most pressing concern. Let's say for the moment that I were to take you at your word that our friends in Brackenbury Sanitarium and their peers bear no responsibility for this curse upon my country. I'm curious, what would you do if you were in my position?
Animancy should be studied in Dyewood. If you don't, someone else will, and they will wield great power over you. Animancers serve their own ambition and their own purpose. Giving them their power is like setting a child loose in an armory.
Very well. That is all I wish to hear. Not just from you, but from everyone. Many days we've been at this. It is time we put it to rest. I want to thank the delegations for helping me collect my thoughts. And our new delegate, who has warned us of a new possibility that must be looked into. The time has come to choose a direction for the Deerwood. I am ready to make my pronouncement. Ramir D. Barash, representing the interests of animancers in Deerwood, step forward.
Your Grace.
The arguments for and against animancy are both strong in their own way. I must be careful in my judgment.
Forgive me, Your Grace. We will accept no judgment but our own.
What's he doing?
No, wait!
Stop this at once!
I've given you every chance to end this pursuit. Shall I end it for you? Another time. I am already late.
And of course no one noticed him, and they simply allowed him to walk there. I was actually expecting them to come from the other balcony. I mean, did you notice how shadowy it was? The words, "Shall I end it for you?" ring in your ears. I found myself gasping for breath, struggling to keep my own balance. I dropped to a knee and watched as Theos hurries out of the building. The world dimmed around me, and screams and clashing of weapons faded to silence. All that remained were the words.
Shall I end it for you?
Theos stood at a perfect height above assembly of roped onlookers. I amongst them, clustered around a wide, circular pit carved of stone. He addressed a woman bound backwards over a large iron wheel, overlooking the great stone mow. Many of the woman's fingers and toes are severed, and the bottom of her feet are charred black. The skin on her side of her face looks like melted candle wax. Black and red seeping from the angles of her back suggests a spine in ruins. Yet, for all that, her expression betrays little of her anguish.
I am already at peace, Grand Inquisitor. Are you?
Her eyes are barely open, and her words come out between staggered breath, but they are strange, unbroken.
So be it. If you desire no end, you shall have none. I find you guilty of heresy. May the eternal prison bar your soul from passage, for it is beyond redemption.
He nodded to a hidden attendant, who began untying her from the wheel. I opened my eyes on the banked ceiling of the palace's gantry entry hall. The clangs of metal striking metal wafted in from outside, alongside the cries of injured as I staggered to my feet. Theos was gone. Sagani was patting my cheek with a firm but gentle hand. Get up. Trouble is already found us. Off to one side I could hear clicking rustle of chainmail, and I looked over to see a wounded guard slumbering against the wall. He was trying to say something, seemingly directed at me, but at first it was too faint to hear. He gathered his breath and managed to rasp out a few words. "Lady Webb, she's the only... She must be told. She'll know what to do. Find her. Tell her everything." The guard passed out and slid to the floor, still. Hey, Sidley. Riots in the streets, eh? Well, I have a mace. I look forward to bashing some scalps. Something that I enjoy. Despite the weapon's weakness, it is still something I can do. Let's hope we have some human victims. Stand down, we don't want to fight you. Wow, you guys really are terrible at this. Flames. But I cannot go past here. Oh, look! A mace! What are you doing, mate? Ow.
I'm here.
Minor loss of reputation. Yeah, no one cares about you guys. You have to kill 3 more people with this thing. Don't slaughter the league with the Animancers. Okay, I hit him once. Okay, did I kill him? Yep. Okay, good. Thank you, that's all I needed. Kill 3 cat Gawa. Or enemies, 15. Oh, whatever. 15 enemies is not that many.
I shall be discreet.
Three spirits. Animancer's boots. Ah, everyone's fine, no worries. Oh, look at that. That looks great. Shouldn't that also be bloody? I don't know. Do a mouse. Fighting just as Sears. Did I kill him? I assume that I did. You're right, mate. Old Raymond doesn't know what hit him. How to do a mouse. Amazingly, they are kind of important to me right now. I was expecting them to fortify this place. Well, I cannot steal from this guy? Yes, I can. As I walked amongst the corpses, I noticed something. The wounds. There was no blood coming in from them. As if someone shattered their minds. Yet they were all holding weapons. Whatever it was that killed them, it was not natural. The Ozian prayer, sure. And there she was, laying on a bed, unmoving and stiff. Lady Webb lies still in her bed, an ornate cushion propping her back upright. The bloody puddle beneath gash her chest is tacky, nearly dry. A shattered glass rests on the floor beneath her darling hand. I could feel a faint aura of her fading essence in my can. As I reached out, I made contact and immersed in a torrent of sensory input and experience. When at count, I found myself in the same room, lying in bed with a glass of brandy in my hand. Though the walls from the streets outside countered the sound of screams and shattering glass, and the cacophony of angry mob, I took a sip and warmed my gullet. Across the room the door opened. Behind a patient steady push into the room walked Theos. A floodboards crackled beneath his deliberate steps. I waited until at last the brandy had trickled down my throat before I spoke.
I was a fool to think I could tame these people.
You came closer than most.
A fine epitaph.
No worse than any.
I was concentrating, focusing with all of my energy. It felt as though I was diving into a stone wall, over and over. But it cracked suddenly, unexpectedly, allowing the vast wisp of a thought to leak through.
What's in Twin Elms?
Did you pull that from my thoughts?
I've had time to practice.
Ah.
He walked over to a small table and raised a half-empty brandy bottle to eye. He seemed to approve of the selection and began to reach for an empty glass.
I was saving that for someone.
Pity. You know this is how it has to be.
He replaced the brandy bottle on the table with a care before approaching the bedside. He sat on the edge of the bed next to me. His words came freely, absent of all doubt. He drew a long curved knife from his belt, smeared with the fresh blood. With his left hand, he gently pins my arm, straining as he raised the knife. In the others, it pointed daring above my heart.
Prove it.
Theos slips the knife between my ribs and pushed it through. Layers of tissue separate with brittle, peppery stiffness, and blood swells up around the blade. A pulse of reflexes calls me to drop my glass to the floor, and I hear a shatter. With the last of my strength, I took his knife hand in both my arms. A question radiates in my mind. For an instant, to my great surprise, The pathway to his mind is left open, and I unguarded. And the answer came, simple, charismatic, and rhetoric, of my thoughts. As Lady Webb, I felt as though I had an answer I've been searching for my whole life. But my own mind, her understanding lies just beyond my reach. I looked at Thales with the wide eyes of someone seeing for the first time and drew your last breath as black, velvet darkness descended over me.
Smoke rises above the city walls in billowing plumes that blacken the sky like a storm. Behind the walls, the riots rage on. Known patrons of Animancy are forced into hiding as looters ransack their estates and make off with their possessions. Animancers are torn away from their families and dragged from their homes to be stoned to death in the streets. Word had spread immediately that Duke Avar had been assassinated, and that an Animancer was to blame. The city wasted little time in exacting revenge, and little effort into evaluating guilt. In the center of it all, Brackenberry Sanitarium burned. And down the lane, Hodred House, the last bastion of stability in the Deerwood, had fallen silent. Now safely outside the city gate, your path points eastward to Twin Elms, where Theos is bound, for reasons that remain mysterious as the Leaden Key itself.
Oh, wow. Assassin at large. How did you lose 50% again? Two turns. Let's move out. As I crossed the bridge, Aloth drew up beside me. The fires of Defiance Bay cast a shivering, flickering light across one half of his face. The other was in darkness.
Please stop. I need to tell you something.
Go ahead.
I have not been entirely honest about my motives for traveling with you up to this point. When I finished my training in Adir, I was introduced to an organization. All I knew was that they were opposed to the unchecked spread of Animancy, and that they could guarantee me postings far away from the Seathwood my father and his Earl. At that time, it was enough. In the early years, I thought of them as many things. Hooded men, prudent teachers, the Leaden Key. Their rules were strict, but their guidance was clear. I sincerely believe they wanted to keep Kith from the folly of their own foolish ambitions. I came to the Deerwood a little over a year ago. My orders were to gather information on Animancy in the region. A senior contact met with me every few months to receive my reports and issue new leads. She sent me to Gilded Vale to keep an eye on events surrounding the local lord, but I lost track of her shortly after that. I don't know if she was reassigned, killed, or sacrificed the way you saw. At the time you met me, I'd been on my own for a couple of months.
You thought I'd make an easy target?
No, that's not it, I swear.
Relax. I knew. I always know.
I needed some kind of direction. And after that scrape with the locals, I was ready to get out of town. But then you mentioned that you'd survived that Beowick, and I thought you might be able to put me back on the Leaden Key's trail. And I was correct in a way. What we found wasn't what I expected. I knew the Leaden Key was trying to stop Animancy, but I didn't realize how far they'd gone. Murder, sabotage, abandoning entire districts to shambling horrors. Now the whole city is up in flames. I'm still not sure about Animancy, but I know I've been following the wrong master. Please, accept my apology, and my service. Let me fight with you to stop Theos.
You don't need to apologize. Let's move.
Thank you. This is a great burden off my shoulders.
Before we move on, I'd like to discuss a few things. How exactly did you come to join the Leaden Key? As it often with such follies, I was young and directionless. The Leaden Key promised some of the structures I was lacking, and they offered me a future far removed from the service of the Father's Earl. Animancy is possible, even more conversional in Nadir than in here. The practice has been outlawed for 600 years, but prohibition has been a way of breeding controversy. The success and relative acceptance of animancy as found in the Valiant Republic spurred a renewed interest in Nadir. The Leaden Key began recruiting more aggressively, and I was the final period of my training when one of my instructors reached out to me. As I said, it was a welcome departure from the Father's plan, and after seeing the few of my colleagues abandon their studies in magic to pursue animancy here in Publix, I was convinced that something needed to be done to stop the spread. Is there anything else? No. That is all. But Eder wants to say something. Go right ahead.
Say what you want about Dear Woodens. They haven't met the problem yet they couldn't solve by killing some scapegoats.
You fight for people because you see something there that deserves defending, even more so because someone you trust sees it too. Then you turn around and they do something like this, and the person who made you want to help them is gone. You weren't really fighting for all of them, though. Huh. Just the ones I liked then, maybe. Just maybe. It'd be nice if you got to choose. Tell the Walleyes that if you die, it won't be for their sorry hinds. Never thought I'd find myself missing hospitality back home. No, I guess you shouldn't. Anyway, this is where I'm going to end this episode, so for everyone who joined me, thank you very much, and I hope I see you all next time. Goodbye.